Welcome to lesson 84, systems of various function families. So again, we're just finding, do any of these function families like intersect anywhere? Can they make any connections? So when given a graph, we're going to try to identify the point of intersection and use the x value as the solution. And when given two equations, we're going to use the table of values in our graphing calculators to find the x value when both outputs are the same. So that's what we're going to look for. Either if we got the graph, we're going to look for where they intersect, and if we get two equations, can we use the graph to find out where they intersect? But I'm going to add a little spice in here, a little challenge, because we've learned so much about how to sketch and graph out functions, and we'll use Desmos to confirm. So here's our first one. F of x is the absolute value of x, and g of x is negative x squared plus 6 on the grid. So we want to know, does f of negative 2 and g of negative 2, would they be equal? Can we use the graph to explain why or why not? So pretty much if we were to graph these two, would they intersect at when x is equal to negative 2? That's what we're looking for. Now, just thinking about my sketch and making a mental prediction, we know that the absolute value of x is going to look, I'm going to do it in this color. Oops, I want to make it into a straight line this way. So we know that's what that graph is going to look like, right? So this is our f of x. And our second graph is going to be a parabola. Like I can just see it, it's negative x squared plus 6. Now, because it's a negative, and I'm again using what I know, because a is negative, I know it's going to be downwards. And because of our k is equal to 6, I'm going to go up 6. So I'm just going to go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to this point over here, and I'm just going to draw this out. And we're going to try and figure out, does that intersection happen somewhere around here? Actually, nope. We want to know at negative 2, do they intersect? So that's what we want to find out. Now, my graph, again, it's not perfect. I just do a little sketch, but we're going to look around this area when x is equal to negative 2 to figure out, do they intersect? Okay? All right, so let's jump in, and I'm going to hit pause so we can set up Desmos. All right, so we're just putting in our graph. The first one, obviously, absolute value is super easy to graph because it has an easy slope. I can see everything there. It's the second one that I wanted to just check up on. And so we know it's going to be negative x squared. So, yep, parabola facing down. So we had that right. And then positive 6. So it does go up to 6. So a lot of things were right about my sketch. It does have that 0, 6 in terms of our vertex going up, and they do cross at 2 points. And I can see that it does actually happen on my graphing calculator at negative 2 too. So again, my parabola wasn't perfectly drawn in my sketch, but that's okay. I guess I could have been more exact had I actually figured out the zeros in my graph and done that. But we don't need to do it that way. I was just being spicy. The other thing we're going to do is I'm going to just put this up here. And if we have this part here, we can look to see where are our points when our negative 2 happens. And here you can see it at negative 2, 2, and at negative 2, 2, that is the exact same point. So that is a point of intersection. So let's go back into our other graph and jot this into our notes. And it did happen at this point over here. So I do want to correct my parabola. Based on now our new information. So, yes, f of negative 2 is equal to g of negative 2 when graphed. Both functions intersect at -2, 2. Okay, and that's it. So that's all I would have here for the solution. I'm not going to do it algebraically because they're not asking me to. I'm just confirming that yes, it does happen, and just showing that on the graph it does happen at this exact point. I could go further and actually put in -2 into both. So here is, if I wanted to go a little bit further, I can put the absolute value of -2 is equal to negative, and here's -2 squared plus 6. I could have done this. I could have done f of x is equal to g of x. And I would have had here +2 is equal to -4 plus 6, which is the same as -4 plus 6 or +2. So that could have been another route that I said I wasn't going to do, and then I did it. All right, Math Marvel, so here you go. I have more evidence showing that this would be true at this perfect point. All right, I practice now. It's your turn. Which value of x results in the equal output for g of x is equal to 3x minus 2 and b of x is equal to absolute value x plus 2. Now remember, you can actually use either equations, or you can use your graphing calculator to identify them, or just use straight algebra. So hit pause and try it out. Let's see if you can find the x value. I think you can do it. All right, here's the reveal happening in 3, 2, and 1. The answer is B at 2. So I'm going to first do algebraically, and then I'll also show you with our points. So you could have just tried to substitute for each one, and then just seeing when is this true. And you would have gotten 6 minus 2 is equal to 4, and 4 is equal to 4. So that's one way you can do it. The other way you can do it is by getting your points from your graphing calculator, and here I have mine nice and ready to go, and just look to see at any of those points. So here's at -2, it would have been -8, and here -2, it was at 0, so that would have just knocked this one out. I don't have 4 here, but you could have typed in 4 to see the other ones. But you could see right over here 2, 4, and 2, 4 works on both. So that way I didn't have to go to the other ones to 2/3 or to 4. But what I love about Desmos is if I wanted those values, I could have easily just typed them in to this part right over here. And if I would have just typed in 4, it would have just spit out on the other part 10. Because 12 minus 2 is 10. And it would have done the same thing here. If you put in 4, it would have just spit out the 6 on the other side. So that's it, Math Marbles. Here's your criteria for success. So if they gave you a graph, could you identify the intersection? Or if they gave you the 2 equations, could you use your calculator like I did to identify the points? Or just use some straight algebra. I hope you found this helpful. I'll see you in the next one. Be well.